This is somewhat embarrassing to tell you, I guess. It might just be surprising. But yesterday, I went for the very first time to the Social Security office. Now, you might be saying to yourself, but Danny, you're just a mere whippersnapper, a stripling. What on earth were you doing over there at the land of the decrepit and ancient? Well, at the end of the summer, I will turn 65 years of age. It's weird because I lived with my grandparents when I was 9, and my grandfather at the time was 60. He seemed impossibly old. And so I look at myself now and I think I'm older than he was. Why am I telling you this? Well, maybe you're my age, maybe you're older, maybe you're much younger and you're like, do I really want to listen to this geezer going on about being old? Well, what I want to talk about actually is not being old, but meeting challenges that seem like they can only be met if you have a huge amount of time left in your life. How often we say to ourselves, I just don't have time to do that, or I'm too old to start doing that. We were watching something on TV last night and I saw this guy running and I thought, oh, that's so great. Like, I wish I could run. But you know what? I didn't like to run when I was 7. I didn't like to run when I was 17. I didn't like to run really at any point in my life, so I'm not sure why that would be a thing that I would want to take up now. But there are a lot of other things that I would still like to learn. I often talk about my desire to play the piano. I talk about it a lot, but I haven't started doing it yet, but it's still on the list. It's really a lot of other things that are new. Learning how to use a computer, learning how to use a new piece of software, learning how to, how to cook a certain kind of cuisine you've never cooked before. There's just a lot of things that we can learn, and we come up with excuses not to do it. The obvious one being drawing. I'm too old to draw, I can't become an artist now, etc., etc. But the reality is that when you learn new things, you encourage your brain to think and behave as if it were younger. You're developing new neural connections. You are really growing your brain. You're giving it a workout by trying new things, by stretching its limits. And I found that I'm as interested in learning stuff now than I ever was. In fact, probably more so because I have more of a sense of the value of my time and my day. And I want to use it and fill it with as many interesting things as possible. I don't want to just lie on the couch recovering. Instead, I want to, take this valuable time that I have and use it to accomplish the things I've always dreamt of doing. Because if you don't do it now, and if you don't do it between now and when your last day is, this is our time for doing the things that we want to do, regardless of how old you are. But the fact is, again, we can make time for things that are important to us. And deferring your dream, kicking that can down the road endlessly, is just going to end up meaning that you don't accomplish the things that you want to accomplish. You don't try them. Because our goal doesn't have to be excellent at them. I don't need to play, like a professional pianist. But what I want to do is have the experience of learning and trying and experimenting and possibly failing, because all of those are things that help me to grow and are actually in and of themselves potentially interesting experiences. And that's really the point of it all. It's not to have some skill that you can bank on. It's not to be able to say, I have a certificate, I have a degree, I have somebody acknowledging that I am great at this. No, it's to experience the steps and process of learning, to have new adventures, to have surprises, to feel yourself say, I wonder what it's going to be like today, because yesterday was amazing and who knows where I'm going to go today. Falling on your face is something we start doing when we're a year old, and that's when we fall down the most because we're learning the most. We're reaching beyond our abilities, we're reaching beyond our grasp because we're new at stuff. We don't know how to do things. We can still have that experience. The experience that as we get older might actually be more important, which is to feel younger by feeling inexperienced. A lot of times when we're older, we feel like we have to know everything. We don't want to be an old fool, right? We want to feel like it's okay to not know, because for a lot, particularly in our adult years, as a professional perhaps, you've banked on the idea that you were an expert. You were getting paid by people to be an expert. And now suddenly to become inexpert, to become a novice, seems, I don't know, scary. But it doesn't have to be, because nobody cares when you fail when you're old. People don't pay attention to us when we're older. But the reality is people don't pay attention to us really at most stages of our life. This is our life. We can live it and lead it the way that we want to. And nobody's paying attention to us. Nobody's watching, because they're watching themselves. Everybody is far more concerned with themselves than they are with what some person over there trying to learn to draw or try to run or try to cook a souffle is doing. So do whatever you'd like. No matter what age you are, take a risk, try something new, push yourself in new directions, and see where it leads you. It will almost certainly lead you to an unexpected place. And if your expectations are low, you'll exceed them. And if your expectations are high, you might confound them by simply experiencing and doing something completely different. So no matter how old you are, no matter what it is you want to do, my suggestion would be start doing it as soon as you possibly can.